Okay, the way these videos are going to work is I'm just going to do as many problems as I can in 15 minutes and then switch to a new video and move that way. I had previously recorded some of these videos, but they have been lost / won't upload, so I'm now re-recording these solution videos. Also, for your information, I'm sick and I just took NyQuil, so if these answers aren't correct, blame it on the NyQuil. But actually, I'm pretty sure I can still do math while under the influence of NyQuil. So, number one, what are 5 mathematical things you know about this function? There's a lot of things you could write here. The domain is minus infinity to infinity. We could talk about the range. That one I might actually need to look at a graph for. So, if I were you, I would head over to Desmos and I would graph this thing. With my current setup here, I don't have the ability to show you the graph on Desmos, but I'm pretty confident that you can handle that part if you need to redo this one. So looking at it, looks like my range is 0 to infinity. I can also see that I have a vertex at -2, 0. I also have one, that thing is also an x-intercept at -2, 0. We have a y-intercept at 0, 4. These are all things I can see on the graph. It's also a parabola. It opens up. It's degree 2 polynomial. There's a lot of things that you could put here. Okay. How does the graph of f of x equal x minus 3 cubed plus 7 compare to the graph of f of x equals x cubed? Well, it's the same graph except shifted right 3 and up 7. That's it. Number 3, does this represent a function? Not a function. Actually, sorry, is a function. It passes the vertical line test. But no inverse fails horizontal line test. Okay, so we're done with that. 4, write an equation of a line that goes through the point 2, 7 and has slope 3. I'm going to use point slope form. So we're going through the point 2, 7. The slope is 3. That's actually an acceptable answer right there. But if you want to go ahead and work things out a little more, you can get to y is 3x plus 1. Number 5, I want us to find f plus g, f minus g, f times g, and f divided by g. For the adding and subtracting, I don't think I'm going to even, well, I'll just say if you add those together, you get 4x minus 12. It has a domain minus infinity to infinity. For f minus g, you get 2x minus 6, also minus infinity to infinity. For f times g, I'm okay if you just leave it as 3x minus 9 times x minus 3, also minus infinity to infinity. And then for the division, you get 3x minus 9 over x minus 3, which actually just turns out to be the number 3. But the domain on that, you can't have 3 in there. So the domain on that goes minus infinity to 3, union 3 to infinity. And the reason you can't have 3 is it makes the denominator 0. Number 6, find f of g and g of f. So f of g, you're going to stick g in where the x is in f. So that's going to give you 3 over x plus 7. And for g of f, you're going to stick the expression for f in for the x in g. So you're going to stick 3x minus 9 in for x and subtract 3. So that's 3x minus 12. Oh wait, I did something weird there. Sorry. G of f. I was looking at the wrong problem. G of f, we're going to stick x plus 7 in for the x's in g of x, which means we're going to put x plus 7 right here. So we're at 3 over x plus 7. Sorry about that. Taken care of. Blame the NyQuil. 5 minutes in, we've done 6 problems. Let's go to number 7. Find the equation of the inverse. This is probably the most missed problem on the test. So we start here. We replace that with y. Switch x and y. Solve for y, which means move the 3 over and then take the cube root. Done. Number 8, simplify and express in the form a plus bi. So we've got 2 plus 3i times 1 minus 5i. I would just do this in the calculator, but if you want to FOIL it, that'd be 2 minus 10i plus 3i minus 15i squared. The I squared is negative 1, so that's plus 15. So this becomes 17 minus 7i, because minus 10i plus 3i is minus 7i. Number 9, part A, this opens down. I know that because it has a negative in front. If it opens down, it has a max. The domain, I can put anything into this. The range, I need a little help on because I need to know what the maximum value is. You could do that by finding the vertex. My advice would be just to use Desmos again. So we need to graph negative 2x squared plus 10x plus 28. By the way, graphing this would be an acceptable way to do the whole problem. We don't live in the dark ages. I can see on here the vertex is at 2.5, 40.5, which tells me that this graph goes all the way up to 40.5. That's as high as it goes, and that is included. So there we are. We're done with the first page. All 9 of those are done. Number 10, divide using long division. 5x squared plus x plus 5 goes into 5x cubed minus 9x squared plus 7x plus 1. You guys actually did a really good job on this as a group. Probably my best long dividing class I've ever had. So I'm going to multiply by x and get 5x cubed plus x squared plus 5x. I'm going to subtract. That's going to disappear. Negative 9x squared minus another x squared is negative 10x squared. 7x minus 5x is 2x. Drop down the 1. This is going to go negative 2 times. It's going to give me negative 10x squared minus 2x minus 10. I'm going to keep going into the work for number 11. Subtract, and it goes away. 2x minus minus 2x is 2x. Plus 2x is 4x. And 1 minus minus 10 is 11. So we have a remainder, 4x plus 11. Done. X minus 2 is the quotient, 4x plus 11 is the remainder. Number 11, for the following graph of a polynomial function, is it even or odd? Well, that's definitely the graph of an odd function, right? Evens look like parabolas. So that's an odd one. And B, what kind of symmetry does it have? Well, it has origin symmetry. Number 12, find all the zeros of this thing, x to the 4th minus x cubed minus 13x squared minus 29x minus 30. I'm going to graph this in Desmos and find the nice zeros. So x to the 4th minus x cubed minus 13x squared minus 29x minus 30. Okay, I'm looking at the graph on Desmos right now. I found on Desmos a nice 0 at -2 and a nice 0 at 5. So back to the paper we go. I'm going to do synthetic division with 5. And I'm going into 1 minus 1 minus 13 minus 29 minus 30. So if I drop the 1, get a 5, 4, 20, 7, 35, 6, 30, 0. I'm going to go again with -2. 1, -2, 2, -4, 3, -6, 0. So there's my 2 zeros, the real ones. Now what this is x squared plus 2x plus 3. I want to find when that equals 0. That's going to require the quadratic formula. So now negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So here that's -2 plus or minus square root 4 minus 4 times 1 times 3 all over 2. So that is -2 plus or minus the square root of -8 all over 2. That's -2 plus or minus I root 8 all over 2. But I root 8 is 2 root 2. So this is -2 plus or minus 2I root 2 over 2. And if you divide both of those by 2, you get -1 plus or minus I root 2. There's our other two roots. And then number 13, what is one topic you remember learning this semester that you either didn't know before or that has clicked with you in a more meaningful way? A lot of people said polynomial long division. I'm not super proud of that because that's not really something that you're going to need a ton of in your life, depending on what you're doing. You'll need it in calculus too, if you have to take that. So I'm glad that you maybe picked up on something, but I don't know how helpful that's going to be in your future, but that's okay. Some people said domain and range. That's a great thing to pick up on. I also hope that you've gotten better at using Desmos to figure out what's going on with a graph, just using technology in general, because those are skills you're actually going to need going forward. Some of the things I want to work on improving the class are getting you to read and understand graphs and real data and how they relate to algebra. We're going to be working on that a little bit more next week. I can't believe I did the whole test in 13 minutes, but there we are. So there's going to be an assignment that goes with this to kind of look over your test and figure out what you did wrong and what you need to work on from this stuff. That's it. I'm going to turn this off and upload it and go to bed, I think.